Hi Heath, thanks for coming.
Hey David, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have a kitchen light issue I'd like to have you take a look at here.
Let's go take a look, see what you got.
So this is the fixture I contacted you about.
Okay.
When the original owners built the house, they had it centered in the kitchen here, but we have our table slightly off to the side.
And that makes sense. A lot of times when you're not sure where it's going to land, they'll just put a light fixture right in the middle of the room. I'm guilty of that as well. But once your furniture's in place and you kind of change things up, you see that it doesn't land where you really want it to.
Yeah, so it drives my wife nuts. Every once in a while when I'm leaning over, I hit my head on it.
Sure.
So we'd really like to center it over the table.
Okay, is the table somewhat where you want it right now?
Exactly, yes.
All right, so we're only talking about moving it maybe a foot or so from the looks of it. Do we have any other switches that may control this light besides the one we just turned on?
There's another switch over on this wall.
Over there as well, okay. So what we want to do is we want to find out which switch the wire that goes to the light comes from.
Okay.
I want to take those apart and take a look. But before we do that, I want to make sure we turn the power off. So you want to show me where the basement is? We can turn that panel off?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, now that the power's off, we're at this switch. We might as well start by taking this one apart first and see what we have. So we're just going to take the plate off.
And what are we looking for here?
So we want to see which switch has the wire that goes to the light itself.
Okay.
So one of these two switches should have a wire coming from it up and over into the fixture. All right. This is the one that has our feed. So this is the power coming in.
Okay.
And I can see that because they wrapped that around that screw like that, where we have kind of two wires looking as the common power end going to another switch inside this box. So it's probably going to come out of that one. So let's go take that one apart.
Sounds good.
Let's just take this out and take a look. In this case, where we have the single and the neutral is made up properly, so this should be our light whip going up. And how this should go up with any luck, it should be coming up this wall, across the ceiling, and towards the light fixture.
Okay, is that good for us?
This is good for us, and I think this is good for us. We have two choices, and this is why we wanted to check and see where this wire was coming from. We can either extend the wire from the existing box, put a blank plate on that, and you'd have that next to the new fixture, which I'm guessing you probably don't want to have.
I'd prefer not to.
With the wire going in the correct direction of where we're pulling this light towards, that means the wire should be passing somewhere in that general area. We can hopefully grab that and pull that into the new box and then patch where the old fixture was. And that way it blends in, we don't have a blank plate, nice clean ceiling.
That'd be great.
Now, I know that's our preference, but there's never a guarantee of where things really run. Okay. So we're gonna shoot for that. But are you okay in the chance that it doesn't work out? Are you okay with a blank plate anyway before we go ahead and make a hole?
Yeah, if we have to, that's fine.
Okay. So let's put this back, we'll go mark the table and we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Now we want to make sure the table's landing where you want it to so we get that center proper.
Okay.
I know you mentioned you wanted to line this outside edge maybe up with this door jamb, does that sound right?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see what we have there. So we're looking about 69.5 there. So I'll check this edge. Pretty close, just a little nudge over. You want to check your side?
Sure. Yep, 69.5 inches.
Great. And one other thing we want to check that sometimes gets forgotten is the distance off the wall here. So the guideline is usually somewhere between 30 and 36. All right, so right about there we have 30. Yeah, it's the midpoint. I think that's pretty comfortable. So now we're going to make the mark. What I want to do is I want to put a piece of painter's tape roughly in the middle of the table. If you want to jump on the other side, hold us on that edge. Now I get about 40.5, so what do you think, 20.25?
Sounds good to me.
So somewhere right around here. And next, take our plumb laser, and that's center of the table, and now our spot on the ceiling. So we'll go ahead and mark that, pull the table out of the way, and we'll get ready to make a hole.
Sounds good.
Well, now we have the fixture down, we have our mark on the ceiling where we want to go. Are there any bathrooms directly above us?
There is.
There is, of course there is. That just helps reinforce the importance of using a test bit first before you go making any big holes. So if I bend it at 2.25 like this, and I spin that around the hole, that should give me an area of about 4.5 inches that's clear. So that'll tell me I have plenty of room for that box. Well, that's a good sign. And then we'll go ahead and slide that in. Should be just clear for that box. All right, there we are. Let's take a look at what we have. The joists, good, just where we want them. Ooh, I think that might be our wire. So we got lucky. So that wire does come out of the switch up and across right here over to this box. So since it's coming this way, I think our next step is we'll take this box right out and I can pull that wire back and install the new one. We're gonna go ahead and install a fan brace. So how this works is it basically wedges in between the two joists. Then we simply unthread it until it presses into both sides. And then that pressure holds the weight of everything up. So that bar is nice and hand tight. I've got access to that wire. So next I need that bracket, David, if you have it.
There you go.
Perfect. Make sure this is pretty close to the center. And if we go right here, that bar is pretty good. So next we're gonna take and knock out a KO out of this and put a connector in it for the wire. So I'm gonna take this one out right here. And can I have that connector, David?
Here you go.
Perfect. So we're just gonna press that connector right into place.
And that's what holds the wire?
And that's what holds the wire.
I hope you like the fixture we chose.
I love it. It's a big upgrade from the old one.
I think so.
So the fixture looks good. Let's just set that over there for now. And I have the parts that we're gonna start with, David. So what I would like to do usually is take the fixture bar, and I wanna mount the fixture bar first. And that lets me set the fixture bar height so the canopy sits like we want it to. That's pretty good. So you can see once we put the lock nut on, nothing's exposed. It'll seal up nice and tight. It's just where we want this. Next, I'm gonna open up one link of chain, hang that up top, and then I'll attach the rest of the chain to the fixture. Once we do that, we can then hang the fixture in place on that open link and kind of raise and lower it to make sure we get a height that you like. And that's about 62.5, so it looks like about 1 inch a link.
That looks good to me.
Feels like a pretty comfortable height sitting at the table.
Yeah.
We'll tighten up that chain and take the excess off. And then we're gonna weave the wire up through the chain and make up the splice up top. And we can just push that up and through. So here's the difficult part. Sometimes getting the second wire through there is a little tough, might be a little bit tight. Sometimes that's why it's easier to pre-wire on the ground, but I still feel the benefits outweigh wiring on the ground as far as doing it this way. It just seems to be a better result. You can get it exactly where you want it without anything twisted up. I want to go ahead and wrap that ground wire around this screw anyway. So I'm going to use the wire strippers now. I'm going to separate this. So I'll make sure the identified one, believe it or not, goes to the white wire, and the smooth one will go to the black wire. Twist till snug, and then go ahead and gently fold those back up into the junction box. Now our canopy, and we know we don't have to fight with it because we adjusted that first. And time for some glass. Great, thanks. Last bulb?
Yes.
That's it. If you wanted to go down to the basement and turn the power back on, we'll test it out.
Sounds good.
All right, David, power's on.
Power is on.
Let's do the honors.
Looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Well, thank you very much for all your work.
Glad you like it.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.